We're here at the Classic Truck Performance Tech Center, and behind me is our 79 C10 project that we're about to put a Flaming River rack and pinion cradle kit on. So while this truck already has power steering, it's got an old tired Saginaw box. It's got a lot of play, it's kind of sloppy. What's going to happen is we're going to put this rack and pinion in there. It's going to tighten everything up. It's going to give it a sportier feel, a little more reactive. It's going to feel a little more modern, and it's going to drive really nice. So the first thing we got to do is we got to get all these steering parts out. It's going to be from tie rod to tie rod. That whole section drops out, the box, the idler arm, and then the steering shaft that connects the stock columns coming out as well with that. Once that stuff's out, we can start putting new parts in. So now we're putting our cradle in place. The driver's side fasteners go right into the stock original steering box fastener holes that are already in the frame. And we'll have to drill 2 holes on the passenger side. So basically what we're checking now is we want to make sure our cradle is level with our cross member. Easiest way to do this is just to put a level on here. It's pretty much zeroed out. It keeps wanting to move a little bit, but if we put it on this, you can see we're 0.1 degree, and we're about the same. So it looks like right there, we're in good shape. So we've marked our holes for the passenger side. We're going to go ahead and drop the bracket out of the way. We're going to bolt the rack and pinion back to the cradle. And then we're going to drill our holes in the frame rail, and then we're going to put it up, insert all the hardware, and the rack and pinion will be in for good. All right, so right now we're just going to lower the truck. We're ready to pull the stock column out and swap it out with Flaming River's tilt replacement column. There's 2 fasteners that hold the bottom clamp of the column to the firewall. Then there's also this transmission shift linkage that we're going to have to remove. Then we're going to go inside the cab. There's a couple wiring connectors and another bracket that needs to be removed as well, and then we'll be able to get the column out. So you savvy viewers might have noticed that this already has a tilt column in it, but it's busted. The tilt mechanism's broke, so it's of questionable state. So we're going to put a new column in. It's still a tilt column. Factory replacement for the most part. It's got the ignition key in the column, just like factory did. So it'll basically be a swap and go. So we're taking this little gasket here at the top that goes between the shift collar on the column and the dash. We're going to go ahead and reuse that because apparently it's pretty hard to find. The other one I took off was just the seal at the firewall. Now that the column's kind of in its spot, I'm just going to kind of snug the brackets up. Then I'm going to reconnect all the wires. Okay, so we've got the column in, it's bolted in, it's connected, all the wiring harness is connected back up, all the connectors are connected. We're looking at running some U-joints. We've got to run a length of double D shaft between the column and the rack. No big deal, but it's going to require a little bit of modification, some fabrication, just cutting a couple lengths of the double D shaft, getting everything routed so it clears the frame, clears the headers. The plumbing from the power steering pump to the rack and pinion's all done, so that's ready to rock. So once we get the column and the rack and pinion connected with our double D joints and shafts, we're ready to go. So whenever you want to terminate your shaft, your double D shaft, or any type of shaft that you're using with one of these swivel U-joints, you want to make sure it doesn't protrude into the body of the U-joint. As you can see when this thing starts to rotate and stuff, you want to make sure that that shaft doesn't interfere with any part of the U-joint. So right now we're just kind of putting a baseline toe in the front end so we could drive the truck to the alignment shop. As soon as we're done with that, we'll get the alignment done, and then everything will be good to go. We still have to bleed the air out of the system. We got to add some power steering fluid, lift the truck up in the air, just turn it back and forth real slow, bleed all the air out. That'll be the last thing we do tonight, and it's a done deal. A couple extra buddies, you could definitely do this over the weekend. Flaming River's cradle rack and pinion kit and their column bolts together. It's pretty simple, as you can see. For more tech tips on your C10 truck and Ford trucks and any other trucks, go to classictruckperformance.com.